So, good morning, everyone. So, we are going to start with our chapter number 6, that is prototyping the physical design. So, in this chapter, we had seen what do you mean by preparation, what do you mean by sketch, iterate, and explore, what are the different non digital methods, what do you refer as laser cutting, what are the factors which you need to consider when you are selecting a laser cutter, what are the different softwares that are available that will help you to make the design while you are cutting using a laser cutter, what are hinges, what are joints, what is 3D printing, what are the types of 3D printing softwares which will help you to again design the graphic files for your 3D printing, CNC milling, repurposing, and recycling. So let us start. The very first is prototyping the physical design. So whenever we talk about prototyping of the physical design, that refers to that how you are going to design your small working model before you go with the actual system. That is your prototyping. So when we talk about prototyping physical design, that refers to how you are going to make the physical working model of your actual system. So when we talk about IoT, the physical design will be with respect to off-shelf components like your breadboards, your sensors, your actuators. So all this, your microcontrollers, everything will come together and they'll help you to make the physical design. But in this chapter, they are also referring the physical design apart from your IoT components. So if you're looking for making a working model, so what are the other ways that are available with you that will help you to make the physical design? So we come across many materials which are very commonly used by all of us and which will help us to make the physical design. So that is your prototyping. Let's move to the next. So the very first step, whenever you start with your prototyping, the very first step you have to do is preparation. So what do you mean by preparation? Whatever you want to design, whatever is there into your mind, start writing it somewhere, because we tend to forget that what we want to have as our actual system. So it is always suggested that you should prepare. You should start with an initial working. You should know what you have to do. So all that need to be prepared somewhere and you need to write it down. So in this preparation step, basically whatever is your design ideas, you're going to write it down them. If you don't want to write it down, then you can sketch it out. The choice is yours. If you don't want to sketch out, then you can even click the photographs. So that's simply a process which will tell you that whenever you are evolving or whenever you are starting your designing process, what things you need to take care of, what materials you will require, how you will go about at each step. So that is your preparation, because this will just, you can say, act as a roadmap for you for every step. So if your preparation is in place for the next coming steps, the problem will be less for you. So it is very much important that first you prepare whatever you want to design, how you will reach that goal. So all has to be write it down somewhere. So that is your preparation. So basically you can start with a to-do list which will tell you that this all things has to be done in a sequence. Let's move to next. Next is your sketch, iterate, and explore. So once you are done with your preparation step, you are now clear with your idea that this is what I want to do. This is my step number 1. So your initial step in to-do list, your step number 1 is evolving your ideas. Okay. So the very simple step which we always come up with sketching is using your pen or paper. This is just helps you to understand your flow of your idea, understand your design architecture, how it is going to be. So the very first step is sketching. So sketching, along with that, there is something called as iterate and explore. So once you explore, you see more ideas, you look for different YouTube videos, you browse for your ideas, then you think of it and then you explore. So sketch is one step, explore and iterate will keep going on and on. Until unless you are just satisfied with what you want, this iterate and explore will keep going on and on. The more you explore, the more you're going to iterate your sketch or you're going to refine your ideas. And at some point of time, definitely you will come up with something wherein you will realize, yeah, this is what is want and this is I have to finalize now. So that is your iterate and explore. So your sketchings will be refined at each step. The more you explore, the more you see, the more ideas through different mediums, through different websites. So you will definitely come up with more refined ideas. Now Stephen Hayes says a quote that we are not designing pages, but we are designing system of components. I have always told you before that your design plays a very important role, because that is something is going to attract the people. That is something which will tell your people or your customer that they have to use your system. So you're not simply designing the pages, you are designing an entire system of components, is designing your front end, designing your back end, integrating those together and coming up with a single application. So that is your system of components. So here we are not simply designing the pages, like here they had referred sketches. So your sketches doesn't refers to that you're just simply going to design the pages or you're sketching the pages, that this is how you're going to go about, but you are actually integrating them together as a component and making one application. Okay, so whenever you're going with this step, you have to be very clear with your ideas, because this step is going to drive your actual decision how your model will look like. So this step has to be done very carefully, and it has to be up to a refinement level where everybody can accept your model, and it has to be user friendly as well. Let's move to the next. Next is a case study, Goodnight Lamp, which you have to submit. Next is non-digital method. So whenever we think about prototyping our models, there are two types of methods. One is digital methods and one is non-digital method. Okay. So when we talk about digital methods, you are using some online softwares or you are using some readily available software that will help you to do the designing of your model. But when we talk about non-digital method, these are the traditional methods which have been used years and years and that are helping people to design their model. So it is something like, you can say, a tough kind of a model structures or traditional system which helps you to come up with different modeling type or different structural type of your designing your model. So the very first method which comes in your non-digital method is modeling clay. So modeling clay is something which is the most traditional method you can see, which is used, even we used to use in our school days whenever you want to draw any model, because there is a lot of flexibility with this material, wherein you can break, you can design again, then you can fix it again. So the material itself is something which is comes with a softened material, okay, and which really helps you to break and redesign. So this is really possible with modeling clay. So these are again a part of self-hardening material, wherein if you leave it for some room temperature, then they get hardened themselves. Okay, but initially when you draw with the clay, it is very flexible, but you can easily give shapes with the help of your palm, and you can come up with the model. So you can design different types of fun projects with this material. You can design your jewelry, you can design dishes, you can design animals. So anything, if you want, whatever you want to have your external model as, you can design easily with this modeling clay. The companies which are very good into this and they are like working well in this area since years is your Play-Doh and Plasticine. So these are the two companies which are very renowned and which are very known for the modeling clay. Let's move to the next method. Next is your epoxy putty. So epoxy putty is also a group of room temperature hardening substances. Basically, they are used for space filling. So any type of space filling has to be done in the models, or anywhere if you want to do any kind of space filling, you want to fill gaps, you want to have a molded structure, then you can go for epoxy putty. So these are again your room temperature hardening substances. As soon as you leave it for some time with the room temperature, it get hardens themselves. So it comes basically with two parts. There is one, the material itself, and there is a hardener. So you have to combine these two together and make one mixture, and then you can apply it wherever you want. So the most well-known brand which goes with this is your Milliput. So there is no much color options. There are just two colors, that is yellow and gray. Next is Sugro. So this is also a type of a, you can say, a material which helps you to prototype your physical design. It is a moldable silicone rubber, just like epoxy putty. It is also self-hardening substances. Once you are done with the shape, you have to leave it and it will set itself with room temperature and gets hardened up. Okay, but the best part of it that it doesn't get too much hardened up. Still the flexibility is there, so you can, even after it gets hardened up, like you leave it for some time, you can still make some changes into it if you want in that case. So it's still the flexibility is there after it sets itself. So that is the best part of Sugro. So even after leaving it for the some time, the flexibility is still there and you can again make some changes. So it is like you can see in the diagram, there is something like you can see there is a soft touch grippy surfaces, and it can actually help you to design or mold into any shape. Next is your toy construction set. So this was something of most commonly used to make any type of design, or you can say any type of structure in our school days. So this is your, it's also called as your Lingo construction set, wherein you just have to join all our different gears or hinges or all the pieces together, and you have to come up with some model. So you wish to always create a working model, a car, a building, a movable, any type of a model we used to make using the toy construction set. So this is also one of the most easiest way wherein you can design your prototype using these models. Next, most traditional method and most commonly known by all of us is your cardboard. So this is your heavy duty based papers which have comes with your greater thickness and durability. So you can fold them, you can even carve them. So whenever you want to carve, you have to make a design first, then you have to carve accordingly with the help of your knife or with the scissor. This is very easily available and very cheap in cost as well. So this is something which is always a first choice for everyone whoever want to come up with any model as a representation purpose. So they always go for the cardboard. Next is your foam core or foam board. So foam core or foam board is also same like as a cardboard, but only the difference is that here there is an insulated material, that is a foam, into your sheets. Okay, the working remains the same, but the color options in foam core and foam board are more as compared to cardboard. Cardboard just comes with one or two colors, but in foam core or foam board it comes with many colors, and it comes with different sizes as well. So depending on what type of model you want to design, accordingly you can select that size and you can come up with a model. Next last is your extruded polystyrene. So these are the type of material which are solid and foamed. So they are usually colorless and they are transparent thermoplastic. So material here is a thermoplastic here. So it is basically has a foam board again into it, and that is like help you to make the models. So basically all your architectural models which are there like building are designed using your extruded polystyrene. So they don't come up with color options, they are always transparent in nature, and there is a thermomass plastic material which helps you to design the model. So the again the working remain the same here. You have to first design it, you have to sketch it, then you can cut it using your knife, cutter or laser cutter, depend on what type of uh, thickness you are taking. Next is your laser cutter. So here we have already seen what are the different types of methods. Now we are going to see what are the different types of options that are available that will help you to cut the material. So laser cutter or laser cutting is a process wherein you cut heavy duty industrial units. Okay, so whenever you want to cut any heavy duty material, you have to go with the laser cutter. It is a subtractive manufacturing process, which means that you will start with more material and cut away the parts at each layer or at each step which you don't require. So that is your subtractive process. So the word itself tells its meaning. The laser cutter cuts variety of material using laser, and the material can be of type wood, it is acrylic, it is foam, it is metal, it is steel, it is aluminum. So depending on what type of material you desire to cut, accordingly you have to select that laser cutter, because there are n numbers of laser cutter depending on the type of material you want to cut. So basically when we talk about laser cutter, there is something called as a laser beam which is directed through the nozzle to your workpieces, and with the combination of heat and pressure the cutting process takes place, and which causes your material to either melt, either burn, or it can vaporize depending on what type of material is being insulated into your beds. So with laser cutter you can have a very high quality of cuts, there will be accuracy, there will be finishing all along the edges. So it gives you a very proper cutting when you talk about laser cutter. So when we talk about laser cutter, there are two things which are very, very much important. First is your size of the bed. So when we talk about size of the bed, that is the area wherein you are going to keep your material, or you can say this is the area that holds your material to be cut. So bed is very much important. So because all your material is going to be inserted here, and then the cutting process will take place. So basically here it consists of two axis mechanism. There is a mirror and there is a lens that will help you to direct the laser beam to the correct location and will help you to focus to the material which is to be cut. So with your laser cutter, there with lens and mirrors, it will help you to cut the material with more accuracy. So size of the bed is very much important. Depending on the type of material which you are going to cut, you are going to select that type of laser cutter. Next is choosing a laser cutter. Second characteristic is power of laser. That is again very much important. So when we talk about power of laser, the powerful lasers or the laser beam, you can say, will help you to cut the thicker material. So whatever material you want to cut, you have to make sure that the laser power has to be strong, because the more strong is the laser beam or laser power, the more accurately and more fast your material will be cut. So here in this example, you can see there is a Wisely logo which is being cut using a laser cutter. So we can cut any type of material. It is wood, any kind of material like steel, aluminum, everything can be cut. But you have to make sure that the laser power has to be very good. It has to be strong, because that is something which is going to help you to cut your materials. So the best part of laser cutting is that the material is always placed on a flat surface, so the accuracy can be found when you're cutting with the help of a laser cutter. Let's move to the next. Next is the softwares. So when we talk about software, this refers to the variety of software programs that will help you to design your graphic files for laser processing. So initially when you start with a cutting of your laser model, you directly don't start with cutting of your model. First, you're going to design the software graphic file of it, whatever you want to cut over the material. That can be logo, that can be any kind of a model which you want to come up with, or whatever you want to cut over the material. So basically these are the programs that are nothing but require CAD files. So CAD is the files which is important whenever you look into the designing aspect. So all your designing will take place on the graphic files, on the CAD softwares, that will really help you to define whatever pattern you want to have over your material, whatever you want to have over your material to be cut. So that all can be done with the softwares, because this is the first step. All your graphic files will be inserted into your laser cutting machines, and then accordingly to your design, the process of cutting will take place, because the machine gets an idea that this is what I want to design, and accordingly I have to cut it off. So the very first step is designing the graphic files of your model which you want to cut. So whenever we talk about CAD file formats, basically there are two file formats. One is your vector and another is your bitmap. So whenever we are looking for the file formats, we should always go for the vector file formats, because they doesn't get jagged whenever you zoom in detail. However, bitmap is something which gets jagged up, or they get zoomed when you are going for a zoomed images. So the software which are most commonly used is your Autodesk Fusion 360 and CorelDRAW. However, there are many softwares available, but the people, those who are going for a laser cutting, usually select this options only, because they actually shows you the working, that how your material is going to be cut. So there is a video section as well which tells you how will take place. So these are the software which are most commonly used. Next is hinges and joints. So there is also another way to use your laser cutting to create your 3D objects from flat materials. Okay, so the very first is your lattice or living hinges. So here you can see this is the hinges, which something which is very flexible in nature. Okay, you can easily flex around them with the help of the notch or cuts which are there into it. So the flexibility has come out with the help of the notches and cuts which are there. So whenever you want to have any type of curves into your design, you want your curves to be hold off, then you can use this type of hinges that will help you to hold the material, as well as it will give you some flexibility over it. So depending on the number of cuts, depending on the suppression, the flexibility of the hinges will be more. So again, they can range from different sizes like 5 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm. So that is always there. Next is your elastic clips. So this is also something which is designed with the help of your laser cutter, and which is also part of a joining technique. So yeah, this really helps you to join the structure like tenon and mortise. You can see the structure over your screen, tenon and mortise. So whenever you're joining two sheets of material at 90 degrees, that is your tenon and mortise. And when you want to hold them, then you can use this plastic clips, that is nothing but an elastic clips, which will help you to hold. You have to just place them between the two hooks, which will hold the molten sheet tight, and without any glue or without any additional fixing, this clips will help you to hold the structure. So that was your elastic clips. Next is bolted bolted tenon and T-slot joints. So basically this is also a modified version of your mortise and tenon joint, wherein you are adding a T, or you can say a cross-shaped slot to your tenon sheet with the crossbar of the T. You can see in the diagram there. So you can have a bolt also through through a hole into your mortise sheet and the slot and through the nuts. So this is also another structure, that is bolted tenon and T-slot sheet. So T refers to what? You will always find a T structure there. So that is your T-slot sheets. Let's move to the next. Next is your 3D printing. So whenever we talk about 3D printing, this helps you to create three-dimensional solid objects. Again, the step remains the same. You need to have a CAD files first for whatever you want to design as 3D. And then this files must be translated into the language that is understandable by your 3D machines. So this is your additive model. Why it is additive model? Because here you are going to keep adding layer at each step. It is not subtractive like laser, because in laser you are adding the entire material at first place and then you are cutting off and then you are starting with the resultant model. But here at each step you are adding the material and you are coming up with the resultant model. So there are different types of 3D printings which are there. Let us see. The very first type is fused filament fabrication. So when I talk about fused filament fabrication, it is also at times referred as fused deposition modeling. So here it is again an additive process, because here we are going to add material at each step. So you can see the working of your diagram over your screen. There is a plastic filament. You can have any filament. You can even have a chocolate material. You can have aluminum. So whatever material you want to have as a 3D model, you have to have into that filament. Okay, then this filament, whatever it is feeded into the nozzle, and this nozzles basically heats up the material. Okay, it moltens up the material, and then the 3D printing of the object starts. Always you have to make sure that whatever you want to do the 3D printing, it should be over your printing bed. So printing bed is something which is important over which your 3D objects will be designed. So there is a nozzle where it will actually melt the material, whatever is inserted into it, and the object preparation will start with the help of this nozzle. So you can feed any material depending on whatever you want to come up with the 3D printing object. Most commonly, plastic is used because you can reuse the plastic as well. So this is the material which is most commonly used. Next is your laser sintering. So laser sintering is your powder-based 3D printing technology where it uses powder, and with the powder, it uses a laser that helps you to fuse the materials into your final part. So whatever you want to have as a model, the first you want to have your powdered form it into your roller. Then the roller will help you to, with the help of the laser, will help you to design your model, and you are going to come up with the resultant model. So here you are going to use a powdered form of any material, whatever material you want to have as a resultant model. Next is powder bed. Okay, so powder bed and laser sintering is one and the same, but only the difference is that in your powder bed you can see something called as a laser or electron beam, which has a printing head kind of a structure from where the material is being coming out and your model is being getting ready. So the best part is that with the in your laser or electron beam you can have colorful filaments also along with the material, and you can come up with colorful model. So whenever you want to have a colorful model, then you can go with your powder bed option. So here you also need some self-hardening sprays because this is something of very delicate. So once your model is in place, you have to always spray with an hardening solution, and then you have to wait it for a while until it gets set, and then you can remove the model. Next is your laminated object manufacturing. So this is your another method of 3D printing. So here you're going to have a layers of your plastic or papers which are fused, or you can say laminated together using your heat and pressure, and then they are cut into desired shape with the help of a computer controlled laser, or you can say a blade. So this method actually produces full color prints because you can have your colored sheet materials. So it is an adaptive process. So here you are going to build up the model by laminating individual sheets of paper together, and whatever color you want, you can have it. All that is required that in each layer, before cutting them into shape, you have to glue them into the place with the color. So that is your requirement. So here you can see there is something called as take up roll, which will take your individual sheet. If your sheets get over, then it will be supplied using your supplier roll. Platform is nothing but a bed, you can say, where your material is being hold off. Okay, block is nothing but the block of the materials which are there. Then there is called as a heated roll. Once your material is ready, the first layer, the heated roll will be will be moved horizontally and vertically where the lamination will takes place. There is something called as a laser, mirror, and optic heads. These three will help you to do the lamination process. Okay, so that is your entire object where you're going to take individual sheets of paper and you're going to laminate them. So that is your laminated object manufacturing. Next is your stereolithography. So when we talk about stereolithography, it uses a apparatus which is called as stereolithograph, and basically it converts your liquid plastic into solid objects. So in stereolithography, there is a UV laser that will trace the pattern for each layer, and it consists of 4 sections. Okay, the very first is your tank that is filled with the liquid. So this liquid resin is usually a clear liquid plastic, you can say. Second, there is a platform which is immersed into your tank. You can see into your diagrams. So the platform is always lowered into the tank so that we can move up and down according to the printing process. Then there is an ultraviolet laser, that is your UV curable resin, you can say, that will help you to come up with the model. There is a computer interface that helps you to manage your platform and the laser movement. So that is nothing but your XY mirror scanning. So this is complete together makes your model, 3D model with the help of the liquid plastic. So here you are going to use UV rays that will help you to make the model. UV rays, your laser source, this together will help you to make the 3D model. Next is digital light processing. So digital light processing, the word itself telling its meaning. Here you are going to use digital lights that will help you to do the 3D printing. So here you are going to use some sort of metal powders which are also called as resins. So here you have something called as digital light projector or DMD that consists of multiple lens, or you can say mirrors, and there is a light source that will be directed and which will help you to navigate the light beam, and that can be projected by your digital light projectors. There is something called as a vat, you can see in the diagram, that is resin vat, wherein you will have your materials into it, which and using that material you are going to come up with the model. So whatever model you are coming up will require a light source over your resin tank, and with the help of that light source, the horizontal model will be start developing. So you have to remember the material which will help you, the filament you can say, which will help you to come up with your model is the digital light. There is a build platform that is nothing but the surface that will help you to have your printed objects stick during the printing. And there is a Z axis. This is self-explanatory. You can see that Z axis is just for lifting the build platform during the printing process. So when we talk about digital light processing, it requires DMT, that is digital micromirror devices that has many lenses that help you to have a light source over it. And with the light source, your printing process starts and your material is being developed. Next is the softwares. So when we have our design ready, we need to have a next step working. So that the next step is nothing but you have to have your graphic files to be converted into the set of instructions that you need to feed into your printers. So that is your software processing. So this is usually in a 3D printing, that is usually a slicing algorithm which is used. Okay, that is once your model is ready, it will be sliced into different layers, and these layers are being sent to the printer, that is your 3D printers, and accordingly they are going to build layer by layer. So most common softwares which are used is your Autodesk, your FreeCAD, and your SkinForge. Okay, Autodesk Fusion 360 is most commonly used. Either it is laser cutting, either it is 3D printing. In most of the cases, it remains the same because the step one is same for all, that you have to have a CAD file, you have to have a graphic file, whatever you want to design. The difference is like in 3D printing, whatever is your design, that is being sliced into different layers by the 3D printing, which helps the 3D printer to know that at first step, what layer will be ready, at next step what layer will be ready. So in 3D printing, you're going to slicing algorithm is there which will slice the layer and then it is accepted by your printers. Next is your CNC milling. So when we talk about CNC milling, it stands for computer numerical control. So it is similar to your 3D printing, but only the difference is that it is subtractive manufacturing process. We already know subtractive is what. So when we talk about CNC milling, the milling is nothing but a process that you can say somewhat similar to drilling or cutting. So in CNC milling, there are machines which will help you to cut the material, heavy duty or industrial unit material. So here there are two things which are very much important. One is your G code and another is your M code. So when we talk about G code, it is a programming language, okay, which CNC machine understands and which instructs the machine where and how to move. Okay, so all your CAD files which are there, once they are converted into the CNC program or CNC file format, the most common file format which is used is .G code. Next is M code. So M code is nothing but the machine code which is unique to all the CNC machines. So this helps you to know the machine movements that can move in different axes or different directions, that is there into your M code. Sorry. So when we talk about CNC milling, there are few steps that we need to follow. The very first step is designing a CAD model. So when we talk about designing the CAD model, this is an initial process wherein you are going to create a 2D or 3D CAD design of whatever model you want to have or whatever material you want to have as a resultant model. Step 2, converting the CAD or CAM model into CNC program. So this is your second step where you are going to convert your CAM model into the CNC compatible file format. Usually the file format which is there is your G code. So your CNC machine automatically takes the file format once you insert the CAD files into the file format which is understandable by the machines. Next step is your setting up CNC milling machine. So this is your step where you are going to affix your workpieces to the machine work surface. You're going to attach different milling tools to the machine spindle. So here you're going to start with the initial process where you're going to place your material with different milling tools which are there and you are affixing your material into it. Last step is executing the milling operation. So executing the milling operation is nothing but now you are ready to run your CNC machines over your material. So here you can see in the diagram there is a cylindrical cutting tool. So if milling actually helps you to cut in different directions. It can be 2 axis, 2.5, 3, 5 axis. So it can rotate itself or move in different directions as you want to cut. So you at the initial step, whenever you are starting with the cutting, you have to start with a slot, you can say, or you can say a hole. So the very first step has to be the hole, because you are going to create an impression and then again you are going to start going in more in detail. So that is the very first step. Okay. So you can use different CAD and CAM softwares for CNC milling. So this is important, the step designing the CAD model, converting your CAD model into CNC programs, setting up your CNC milling machine and executing the milling operation. So you have to have this. Let's move to the next. Next is recycling and repurposing. So we already know this recycling and repurposing. We are familiar with what recycling, repurposing is also the same. So when we talk about recycling, it is a process where you are going to reuse your materials. Instead of going for new material, we are going to go for a recycled material, because this is something which is always cost effective strategy and we can go with the reused item. So instead of purchasing the new material, having an extra overhead, we can go for recycled material. Now there are many companies who are actually coming up with recycled material, which helps you to make your models very cost effective. So here you can have recycled materials of type steel, it can be aluminum, plastics, and electronic components as well. So plastic is something which we most commonly know that it is recycled and we come up with another different models as well. Even you can recycle your own computers and your laptops. Usually there is called as refurbished computers. You can always see that there is always a price difference between a refurbished computer and the new computer of the same configuration. Okay, so whenever you want to have a model or you want to have any type of a product at very lesser cost, then you can always go for recycled material. This is something will be very helpful for you. So again we can call, we have to take care that whenever we are going for a recycled material, before you are going to the process, if it is laptops or if it is your computers, all your personal information, whatever is there into it, you make sure that it is wiped off, it is deleted before you dispose it. If it is just simple materials, then it is fine. But if you are going for a laptop disposal or computers disposal, make sure you are deleting all your personal information. Okay, so this completes your chapter number 6. That was complete, tells about what do you mean by prototyping of your physical design, what are the different types of techniques which will help you to cut the materials, and that was the entire process. Okay, thank you everyone.